Here's the bigger thing here. It wasn't the 16-year-old educating the old fart. It's the old fart educating the 16-year-old. And we're seeing that across the board.
Boy, you would have never predicted that 2 years ago.
Welcome to the AI Show from Think Labs. In the whirlwind of AI advancements and innovation, we do the deep dives and all the research, so you don't have to. We Fisher-Price the essential news, updates, interviews, and breakthroughs of the week, providing actionable insight that impacts you, your teams, and your companies. Now, let's get started. Here's your hosts, Sam Stanton and Robbie Sawyer.
Well, looky here. Howdy, hello, and welcome to episode...
Whatever.
I think we're at 173, Robbie.
That might be a little bit.
I think we stopped counting, and then I don't
That's a
remember.
lot. That's a lot.
No, we're back.
I do know it's twice in 1 week, though.
Well, one
Ish.
week later.
Ish.
And,
Yeah.
and it was fun with our reemergence. We've had a lot of people. We have had a lot of people reach out and
Fun.
hit a nerve, and
Sure.
they were happy to see we're so live, Robbie. And we are. And we're alive and kicking. And we thought it would be fun to share some of the magic and things that we're doing and help you apply AI in your world. So the biggest stumbling block for most people is that it's this big, furry, hairy, scary, where do I even begin? What does it mean? How do I start? Oh, I'm busy. I got an email just came in, right? And the hardest part is to just start. And the hardest part is to understand that you don't have to solve the whole world's problems and completely convert and transform your company in a day. You do it with baby steps, right?
And what's that called? Kaizen?
Kaizen, exactly. That's a little Japanese there, Robbie, and that is just do 1% every day. 1%. Try something and see if it works today. And if it does, you might go, man, I might try and do that tomorrow. Kaizen, 1% a day, and in a month or two, you've completely evolved everything you're doing.
So do we want to go out this with, I guess, in the context of this not so little project we're working on right now in the education world?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've designed it, what we're doing for them is specific, a little bit more specific around them, but the basics and the principles are the same, right?
Sure, yeah.
And some people would say, wait a second, you're giving away the secret sauce. It's
Okay.
not real secret sauce. Our value is being the guides with the know-how and the experience, but giving you this roadmap, you can go do this. You can go work out in the gym and do this on your own.
That's what I was going to say. You still have to put in the work.
Right. We're just trainers that help you. We thought it would be fun to run through that. We actually have really dialed in some cool actions on Boggler, and the latest post is what we're going to talk about right now. So do go back and look at that post if you want it all spelled out. And as always, we will share the assist of this podcast. But let's get in it and to it, Robbie. And this is also kind of interesting in that this isn't just this is probably what you should go do, and this is what we think, and this is what we read, but this is us actually applying it and seeing people have huge success or huge failures for doing different pieces of that. So applying the AI, that's what we call it, applied AI. The first and most important thing that we see missed across the board that is so important more than everything else is the understanding and the education. People have to know what this is. They have to understand its potential impact. They need to know what the brand or the team or the company is thinking. Otherwise, it's a big, scary, I don't know. And they're also going to start making their own opinions. I think AI is stupid. I think it's going to take my job. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's going to dumb humans down. All those things are just thoughts without any backing behind them.
Right. And we talk about this often, but it's also those people that get bogged down with trying to think that they have to figure out how it works.
You don't have to figure out how it works. Doing any of this, you're not becoming a master AI professional, right? You're going to just rather augment what you currently do.
And I may be jumping ahead here, but I love your analogy the other day during one of the sessions we were having around what happened when Excel came out.
Yeah, so
And
so computers come out, which was one thing. VisCalc, which was a calculator, if you will, came out, which was awesome for nerds like me. But once
You said
Apple and once Microsoft came out with Excel, that changed the game. Now everyone was like, "Well, accountants are going to lose. We're not going to need accountants anymore. They're all going to lose their job, Rowie." But what happened in reality is that it did go after the worst part of their job, the time repetitive, start from zero, do some basic calculations, which does not make them a good accountant. That's just a foundational thing you need. But if you allowed Excel to do that, then you could focus on the more important critical thinking or forensic accounting.
Sure.
And it actually tremendously boosted the accounting field. It's the same thing here, is that AI is not going to go take anyone's job per se. It's going to take away the worst parts of your job.
Let me see if I can articulate this, but what do you think is the reasoning behind the struggles that a lot of people have as it relates to generative AI and being able to wrap their arms around it versus Excel when it first came out? Because people weren't jumping in and saying, okay, well, I've got to figure out how that can't be. How's it going to be able to do that? And I have to figure out how that works before I can begin to invest any sort of bandwidth into trying to figure it out.
Well,
is it just a crazy wild?
No, I can I mean, for me, but I've also seen from others too. It's like you got to have that aha moment where you're like, yeah, I need to learn this. I need to do this. So in Excel, I can just do it in Word, or
Right.
however, I can just write it all down. But then when I get burned because my math wasn't that good and it wasn't that great at 11 o'clock at night when I was trying to do something, and they said if I just plug these numbers into these cells, it would add it up correct every time.
Right.
Done. I do that one time. That's that light bulb magic moment. It's like, okay, I get it.
But
I didn't have time to do that until I had to do that.
okay.
It was the same with that video thing that we did. I'm not going to use AI for anything ever. Don't ever ask me, Sam, until they called with the 911. I've got to have a video that normally takes us a month to go through 50 different meetings to get it produced and done, and I need it for tomorrow. And if you just tell me no, that's fine. I can tell my CEO that.
Right.
I said, no, the answer is yes, but you got to allow us to use AI. And sure enough, it did. And since then, we've never had another discussion about whether we should use AI or not should.
Okay.
I was just looking through my notes here. I love this. You don't have to be great and you don't have to know anything to start with AI, but you've got to start to learn something to then become great at AI.
Okay.
It completely screwed that up, I think.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from with that. You don't have to, again, we talk about this a lot. If you can have a conversation with someone, you can make big impact with AI.
You're just going to have conversation with the AI.
You just have the conversation with AI, but again,
But you don't
it's a
have to
challenge,
know
it's
it
a change.
all
No,
to start.
No.
That's our big point.
Right.
So
And you won't know it all, and there's no pressure that you should put on yourself to say, "Oh, well, I don't even know enough to get started."
right.
I mean, that's a problem.
Well, no, you got to start with nothing,
Right.
And say, what can I do?
Right.
So the very first step then is your education and AI literacy. So when we work with big groups, or in this case, we're going to be working with a bunch of different school districts, you need to get all of the potential people that are going to be part of your AI team or be a part of this initiative to have a level set of understanding before going forward. So you need to have that education. However you do that, classes, online learning, whatever it may be, you got to do that. Of course, all of this, we're happy to help you with. That's what we do, right? But that is step one. The step two is someone's got to own this, right? And someone's got to drive this initiative. The most successful we've seen and what we've seen in what's happening in the industry is the higher up it can be, the more impactful it will be. So if you can pull your CEO level in and say, this is going to be, and they can see the value, they can see the trends, and hopefully they are seeing this, they just haven't figured out how, they should lead the initiative. That doesn't mean they're testing LLMs out or doing any of that stuff. They're just leading the drive and supporting the teams that are going to be working on this.
And in contrast, the challenges that we've seen with clients are typically a result of it being given the responsibility or being in charge of.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt AI is technical in nature because it's coming through a computer, so it is technical. But what we've really learned and what we share with people is that more than being technical or a device or a software layer or whatever it may be, it's a change. It's a change in mindset. And so, yes, your IT guys are going to be great with implementation. How do we get it on everyone's computer? What tools are we going to use and what you should and shouldn't do and all that kind of stuff. But they pretty much stop there.
Right.
What's needed is not the what we're going to use, but the how, where, and why we're going to use it, right? And that needs to be a multidisciplinary, hey, we need legal in here. We need HR in here. We need operations in here. We need our creatives. We need our account. We need everyone who could possibly touch it, which, by the way, is every department,
Right.
to have a voice in this. The other interesting thing is we jump from who's the leader to the AI team. That's actually our third step, is besides diversity in departments and expertise, you also want diversity as far as, hey, it's senior management or it's mailroom. You want every mix of that. The other thing you want is people that are super duper excited about, oh man, did you check this out? Can you do this and this and this?
And the naysayers.
And you want the naysayers.
Right. We've seen that firsthand. That's important.
And you want the naysayers for a couple of reasons. One, to identify what are the reasons people aren't getting behind it or are apprehensive. They'll tell you, believe me, right? But then also that helps you build your guidance or supply the tools or the methodology or the education which responds to that. And what we've seen is that in doing so and having that inclusion turns them into heroes, turns them into the biggest supporters you could ever have because they now get it.
Right.
So that's part of putting your team together. You first need to have your captain, your leader, and then you have your team. You need to set up a regular meeting with the team once a week or whatever it may be. The thing is, it's first going to start off as a part-time thing, which isn't great. But that's how, if you think about, that's how IT started, right? Here's the office manager bringing in these new computers in the early 80s and taking them to the creative department or accounting or whatever, and you guys figure it out. Well, once that got overwhelmed, they needed an IT department that sourced the gear, that made sure it was updated, that made sure that it was working, that it was connected to a printer and did all that. That's what an IT team did. You're going to eventually have an AI team.
I think that if you break it down, it's interesting from a knowledge worker's perspective because, wow, what ultimately a surreal experience this will be for someone to get involved in what is truly the most transformative technology that anybody has ever seen before. So if you can approach it in a fun, right, as we always talk about, Fisher-Price sort of way, I mean, holy cow, it doesn't become, oh my God, I got this other responsibility now, or I'm on this other committee. It becomes something fun, something very interactive.
It makes you, first of all, personally, it makes you a superpower.
Yeah.
You're gonna see that you can do stuff you never thought possible. That, no, I can't put anything else on my plate. Now you can, right? And then the other note is, who knows where this takes you within the company? Our crazy stat that we share again and again is that it's now like 5 years away, 2030,
Mm-hmm.
85% of the jobs that we will have in 2030 don't exist today.
Yeah, that's still crazy to even wrap your head around, but true stat.
So, but that makes sense, right? Who's doing our AI education? Who's doing our AI custom AI knowledge bases? Who's doing our AI prompting and engineering? Who's building our custom AI? Who's integrating? I mean, it goes on and on and on, and who knows what doors will be open with that. But you got to put the team together. Initially, that's going to be part-time. Everyone's going to have a day job, and then initially they come in and do this. And they're driving what's going to happen with your team and with the company or the industry on what's happening around AI. The next step will be to form an MTP. Robbie, that's a massive transformational purpose. This is kind of a nouveau, smoke some funny cigarettes.
We talked a lot about this early on.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see it sort of come back, but you're right. It's like you have to create that crazy mission statement that revolves around AI.
Well, so it's for those that are tuning in for the first time on this is an MTP is your massive transformational purpose. So what is it that this team and this company or whatever it may be, what is the purpose of AI and this team? What are we going to do with this?
So the origin of that, just for my sake and for whoever might be listening, the origin of that relates, that's a technology driven.
It's an innovation driven term. So a lot of these newer companies, say an Uber, right?
Yeah.
Or the Netflix or Tesla or SpaceX or any of those things. It's called an exponential company.
Yep.
Okay. So it's a few people.
They're doing crazy things with
doing what thousands of people do initially, right?
Yep.
And so they're moving at speed.
Okay.
So it's important for them not just to have a mission statement, but to have like this extreme guiding light and focus.
Okay.
So, for example, for Red Button,
Right.
our MTP is to elevate experiences and empower people. So everything we do, whether it's this podcast or we're building this or doing this or going to an event, are we doing one of those two things? And if we are, good, keep going and go fast, right? So that's what the AI team needs to do so that everyone can basically answer the question, I don't know, should we go down this road? Does it align with our MTP, right? They're then going to create their mission statement and their executive summary because everyone's going to go, oh, we have an AI team? Yeah, what do they do? So what's your one pager, right? So put that together so you can go, here you go.
Gotcha.
Here's what you need to know. And then it kind of also bolsters your team together, and it's a little glue to keep them all together. Hey, man, I'm part of this team.
Okay.
We're really doing this innovative thing. And how's that for a resume builder? I was on the AI impact team at so-and-so company, and we took that company from here to here. Literally. That's a big deal. So there's that. And then the next step for that AI team is to figure out what are the tools, what are the policies, what are the guidelines that we will follow. Now there's it sounds like a very daunting task, and pre-AI it would be. I can't imagine the number of Zoom meetings and whatever you'd have to do. But now there's ways to make that happen like that and make sure that it's on brand and on team for everything.
Right.
Okay. The next element around that, or that kind of happens simultaneously, is build the roadmap. So what is it that we hope to accomplish? And this kind of gets infused back into that one pager as well. And this isn't a 10-year thing. Because as we know, it changes by the week.
Some of our clients think it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But no, it's a here's what we're hoping to do in the next couple months or maybe even next few years.
Okay.
Few years. If you're saying anything longer than that, that's just, it doesn't matter what you say because it's all going to change constantly. So that's important. So now we've understood what AI is.
Right.
Okay. We got all those people engaged. We've selected our team. We've figured out our MTP. We've figured out our mission statement, if you will, our executive summary. We've put together, here's the tools, the policies, and the guidelines. And Don't really corner yourself in there. You need to say, not that you have to use this tool, because that tool will be irrelevant in 6 months. So it's, in general, whatever tool you're using, these are the basic things you should follow with those tools. And then we've created our roadmap that we're all following.
Okay.
So we've got that together. Now it's time to start doing stuff.
Okay.
Now we invoke FAFO, the fool around and find out. Okay. And FAFO starts with an impact assessment. And this is a fun and somewhat sobering experience in that you've decided with your team what are the first departments we're going to go work with. You choose some heroes, if you will, in those departments, people that would be interested, people that ask those questions. Isn't there a better way to do this? Why do we do it this way? Besides, it's the way we've always done it. Isn't there a better way? And you choose a few of them and you have them kind of diary, what do they normally do in a work week or in a work day? And then to prioritize what are the biggest time killers, the most repetitive, the most does not require any of my expertise to do. So they'll come back with those. And then with that, you should do an analysis and say, yeah, I really think we could enhance this with AI, whether it's just doing research or whether it's generating some content or maybe it's doing analysis. Boy, those will be big steps. It's important to measure what those initial things are so that you have a basis of, well, we applied AI here and we received not only this much better of a product, but we did it in this short of time or whatever it may be.
Yeah, with us, for when we're working with the client, I mean, we obviously utilize AI throughout that entire process.
Entirely.
So regardless of what department or what hero within that department has been charged with trying to ascertain what might be a process that could be done better, more efficiently, more creatively, we can and will use AI to help direct them, and then obviously use the AI to capture what their responses are and then move forward with using AI to flush out different ideas and different options.
And opportunities. Yeah. I mean, another fun thing we have is an AI that we've built that when we say this person is a project manager, how will AI affect them? So if I said to you, project manager Robbie, what are all the tasks that you have in your job? I mean, you go, oh my gosh.
It's pretty
Where do I
funny when you
start?
say that, because we really do and don't even need to have those conversations anymore. As long as we know the industry,
Right.
As long as we know the position within the industry.
No, but to ask somebody that,
Yeah,
right? So
right.
again, this is all about your first drafts, right? So running this AI that we have, we literally put in the job description and it goes, oh, well, typically this person would do ding, 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 ding. This would take up this much of their time, whatever. Is it right? No. Is it close? Really close, right? But more importantly, it gets that person engaged. They didn't have to think too much,
That's
and they
amazing.
go,
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. Oh yeah, no, I would spend more time
It's an
here,
instigator for sure.
right? And it's done like that. And then the AI says, okay, thanks for that enhancement. Thanks for that clarification. Great. Well, let me show you. And it literally will spit out, well, if you use this, you can do this or this or this. So it is fascinating to leverage AI to figure out how to leverage AI.
Right. Yeah,
So-
that's crazy.
So that's important. So now you've identified your pilots. Let me just give you the Webster's Dictionary
Oh no.
definition of a pilot. A pilot should take 4 to 6 weeks, should involve multiple different testings of things with recording of results to see and learn best practices. 4 to 6 weeks, right? And honestly, with AI, you can probably even condense that in.
Of course.
When you go beyond that, it becomes a project and a time suck, and it never finishes.
And what we have seen firsthand is that so many, larger legacy type companies struggle with that. Understanding that this isn't a project like you have done, like with
It's
other,
a pilot.
yeah, it's piloted with other, they treat it AI as it is a technology, but it's really more of a tool, as we've talked about often, but they are treating it like a technology. Therefore, it morphs into more of a project just because that's what they're accustomed to doing.
So to hopefully alleviate that, because it's when we see that happen, it's just, here we go. It's important to first start off with a timeline, and executables are going to happen at these benchmarks, right? And then it's important to nip that in the bud when those things start going. When we work with a client, we actually put penalties in there if they take what should be 6 weeks long and turn it into 6 months, right? When we do our education online, you get a certain amount of time to go do that. And if you're lazy and can't do whatever, to finish it, you have to pay a little bit more to go do that education. So maybe you have to reward, or maybe you have to penalize one way or the other to make sure that people will stay on task and keep a pilot and not turn it into a project.
Mm-hmm.
Don't kill all your initiatives with a Zoom meeting after a Zoom meeting, right? Everyone should be tuned in and whatever. So after the 6 weeks and you run your pilot, we've yet to do a pilot that didn't have amazing results, but you might not have great results, but I don't know how, right? So that said, you need to come back and review, and you need to get all the stakeholders to get their 2 cents, right? And then you hear what's working, what's not working. You make any modifications and revisions, and then you document the new process. You map the new process, and now you're able to start including others who are interested, because all those heroes that were part of your pilot have been out talking to people like, oh my gosh, I'm making proposals now in 4 days, man, not 4 weeks. Or I'm doing this or this or this. So others are now getting excited. They're your cheerleaders. So now you're going to give them the mapped out process, approved process of how to do that. So that is ultimately, for enterprise, a quick win.
Should be.
But you need to, well, and in this whole thing, you need to look for quick wins, things that you can come back to your meetings each week on your AI team and go, look what happened here, or look at this new tech I saw, or check out this new use case, or did you hear about whatever? You need to have those quick wins that keep that energy and excitement coming.
Yes.
Right? And now that we've actually started and we're actually doing things, we want to nurture that and keep that going and keep that growth mentality alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to create a community hub, if you will, where people can connect with the AI team and each other and share best practices, share best prompts, share best ideas.
Yeah, it needs to become part of the culture of the organization.
Yeah.
Because it isn't just one and done. One simple win that should only fuel a fire for so many more. But as you said a little bit ago, it's like you got to keep the traction. You got to keep moving, because the AI is moving at crazy fast speed. So to your point, it's like one, and we fall foul of this often. At least I do anyway. People will say, "Can AI do this? Can't AI do that?" You're so quick too, because we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Oh, well, but we sometimes need to FAFO.
Right.
But in the back of our mind, we're like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but again, that's the adoption of that mindset that for us, it's been everyday occurrence for 2 years. But man, as you started this out earlier, it's like, you just need to have that aha moment. If you allow your mind to be open to that, then that's the secret sauce.
But it goes back to our change discussion up front. I mean, it is crazy. And I know you get nervous when we go into meetings and we're talking about something, and the answer isn't, well, I'm not sure, or no. It's, yeah. I mean, with confidence, we go, yeah, we can build or discuss or put out a path or figure out whatever it is. For sure, we know we can. And we can become experts in whatever the thing is in a short amount of time using AI. That was a complete change. Because before you would go in and go, well, I'm not really sure. I'll need to go research and hopefully I'll be able to. We know we can. We know we will. And it's fun when we're doing our keynotes. We share with people, hey, we're going to tell you stuff today that just does not even sound real, does not even sound possible. And we hope to get you thinking first, but we would love for you to try and validate or look up whatever we're saying. Go use AI to do it. And as we were just saying earlier, it's not learning something in school anymore. It's more, or it should be, more about learning how to learn. Because in this quickly evolving world, if 85% of the jobs don't exist today, how are we going to ever prepare ourselves for those jobs?
Sure.
How do we learn how to do that? So it's learning how to learn.
I love it.
So that's a whole bunch of stuff. That's still, probably didn't relieve anybody with like, oh, okay, well, there's the easy way to go. There's the whole roadmap, although it is there, guys. But here's the basic steps. You just got to start. So today, at the end of the day, look back at your day and go, what was something that took up a lot of time that really didn't use any of my special knowledge on anything that I might just go open up ChatGPT or whatever it is that you use and literally say to it, how would I write this email better? How could I review this report? What should I know about this or this? And just try stuff. Just try it. I guarantee it's going to work, right? If you ask the right question. And once it does, you're just going to start leapfrogging down the road of, why did I ever do it any other way?
Once you start, you just can't stop.
And
But not in a bad way.
No.
You know, we talk about that often, not to go down that wormhole now, but once you start, once you allow yourself to go, wow, holy cow, that has the ability to do, the AI has the ability to do this and this and this and this and this. And we early on joked around, okay, well, do you want to let people know that you're using any of it?
Yeah.
We come up with this unbelievable email or this unbelievable presentation, whatever it is. But I think moving forward, as we've learned, you're
expected to.
you're expected to. That you're leveling. We talk about it often. It's like AI allows you to level up. Yes. Level up in ways that if you're a C player, not because you're, for whatever reason, you're in a position that, man, I just don't have all the answers yet, you can quickly become that B player, BA, and so on and so forth. Funny story last night, we can wrap this up after that, but my son's girlfriend, who's incredibly smart, bright, brilliant, junior in high school, he was on speakerphone and he called me down to his room and was like, hey, Dad, I'm on the phone. And she started sharing with me. She goes, what do you know about Claude? She goes, I just uncovered Claude. I don't know how I got it. Yada. And it was just interesting because she is brilliant and she writes, has to do a ton of different essays, but she picked up on, even with Claude, how much more interesting for her utilizing Claude for creative writing was versus ChatGPT. And it was just fun because I need my son. He was into it, but he hears her talk and it's like he sees how she's using it. And it's just this organic sort of thing where at their level, and we obviously going to this big education conference, but it's interesting that in their school district, there's really still no guidelines.
No.
So right now it's truly the wild, wild west of, man, just use it.
And she has had, unlike L2, she has had that aha moment, right? So like, she's not going to go write any way different going forward. She is locked in, whether it's Claude or whatever the fastest one or best one is.
Right.
She's there.
Right.
I don't think Luke has had that yet.
No, not yet. No, he just uses, he uses the paid version of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because that's what you should use.
Yeah.
And that's what I had told her as well. But
how about, here's the bigger thing here. It wasn't the 16-year-old educating the old fart. Mm-hmm. It's the old fart educating the 16-year-old. And we're seeing that across the board.
Boy, and you would have never predicted that 2 years ago.
No.
I mean, it is. And we talk about this a lot often. I'm sorry I keep saying that. But being older, as we know, AI needs us.
Yeah.
It needs our experience. It needs our wisdom. It needs all of
Our guidance, our revision.
and our ability to guide it and understand what it needs to from an input or prompt perspective in order to provide the best, quickest output. And it's hugely important. So for anybody out there that may be listening that's older and thinks that it's way too much to grasp, dude, you already have it in your head. You have the knowledge. You're going to be so far above anyone else just coming out of college if you can jump in now and understand, begin to learn how to engage with it.
You can start now
Yep.
and have a competitive advantage,
Sure.
or in a year, play the continual game of catch up. Because those that are starting now will have an advantage like we've never before seen in history.
Don't be the dude that kept the flip phone.
Yes.
Don't be the dude.
Still got my BlackBerry.
Right, don't wear that like, yeah, still got my BlackBerry, my flip phone, whatever.
So, guys, I think that wraps us up for now. We look forward to seeing everyone in California on Saturday, Robbie. We better put together a presentation or
So
something.
work on that.
Yeah.
With that. Hey, I might be able to help with that. I'm not sure.
So, and then we're going to be in Greenville, South Carolina on Sunday
Sunday for cooling.
for some more AI fun. So we will see
And
you
then we're
soon.
shutting it down.
And then we're shutting it down, kind of.
Kind of not
Kinda.
probably.
So we will see you then on our next episode, episode 174.
It's hard to believe.
Over and out.
Thanks for tuning into the AI show from Think Labs. Don't miss out on next week's episode where we'll continue to Fisher-Price the latest in AI that will make impact for you and your organization. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update and visit redbutton.ai to learn more about innovation for professionals and organizations. By the way, I'm Bogler, Sam and Robbie's professional assistant that takes care of all their busy work. Ever think about all that repetitive, mind-numbing, time-sucking busy work I could knock out for you? That's it for now. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, make it an awesome week.